In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to save data using local storage. And let's learn how to set data first so we could do other cool things with it. But we're going to start writing local storage, period, set item. There we go. And inside of our brackets here, we're going to have two values, and the first one is going to be the key. And that's basically like the name of our item here. And I'm going to name it count. And the second value, it says a string here, but it could be, well, a string, it could be a number, it could be a boolean. So I'll just set it to 0 for now. And if we actually go here and then open this with live server, and then if we right click on inspect, and then if you'd go to application here, then you could see that we have this storage. And then if we click on local storage and then HTTP, then you can see that our item's saved. But if it didn't work, then go back and make sure that you don't have any errors or you haven't misspelled anything. But now let's go over things like how can we get our item here. So right here, we're setting our count to equal to 0. And now, how do we actually fetch our item? So we can actually create a variable. So let count, and then that's going to be equal to, we're going to write local storage dot get item, and then we're going to write the key name. So we're going to write count. And what we could do is we can console log count and see what we get. So if I actually go back here, our value is going to be equal to 0. So in the console, we should get 0. But now if I actually change it to something like, I don't know, let's do 10, then you could see that it's going to console log 10 because in our storage here, it's set to 10 now. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we can remove a local storage item, and I'm going to write it in the console just to show you that you can also do it here, but you can write it in your VS Code. It's not going to change anything. But what we're going to write is local storage dot remove item, and then we're going to write the key here, and that's going to be count. And before I actually write it, let's go back and make sure that it's still here. And as you can see, it's here. And now when I press enter, you can see that it'll get unidentified, and that's going to be this right here. So that means that it's deleted. And if I go back here, you can see that it's gone. But now watch what happens when I reload. So if I reload, you can see that it's back. And that's because right here in our code, every time we reload, our main.js or your script runs again. And so it sets a new item. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually comment this out. And we're going to go back here and let's write it again. So local storage.remove item. And then we're going to write count, and when we press enter, then you can see that now, even when I reload, we're not creating a new item. And now that you know the basics of local storage, let's try to create this clicker game. So every time we click this button, we get +1 added to our text here. And then when we actually leave, or when we close our tab and go back, then it's saved. But now let's actually do it. So what we're going to do is add an event listener to this button right here. So every time we click it, we can add 1 to this count text, and you can just copy this if you don't have it. Now let's do that. So I'm going to copy this class right here, and let's write document.querySelector. Let's select it. Whoops. There we go. We're going to add an event listener. It's going to be on click. And now let's write function. And what we're going to do now is we're going to get our count text. So let's do that. So query selector dot count text, and we're going to change the inner HTML to equal to count, which I have to create. So let's create it. Count, that's equal to 0. We're going to be equal to 0 for now. And every time we click our button here, we're going to have to add 1 to our account, and let's see if it works. So when I go, actually I have to open this back. So every time I click it, you can see that 1 gets added to our text here. Now let's save our count in our local storage every time we click our button. So local storage dot set item, and let's name it click count like this, and it's going to be set to the count. And now if we go back here and open it with live server, I'm going to open the developer console, and in our application, I'm going to actually delete this. You can see that we have nothing here, even when I reload. But when I click this, you can see that our value here is going to be equal to this count right here, or the text. But now when I reopen it, our text is equal to 0. but our local storage, the value is still equal to 11. So it works, but now we have to set our text here to be equal to the value of our click count. And to do that, we first need to make sure that this item exists inside of the local storage. And to do that, we're going to create an if statement. And we're going to write local storage.get item, the name of the key. So click count. And we're going to make sure that it doesn't equal to null. So we're going to make sure that it exists basically. And now inside of it, we're going to write, actually, we can just copy this like this. There we go. And we're actually going to set this equal to this right here. Let's actually create a variable. So let saved count, that's going to be equal to this. And now we're going to set this to equal to that. And we also need to set the count here to equal to saved count, and I'll show you why to later. So let's open this with Live Server, and you can see that now it's just equal to 11, so that means it works. And when I click it, it works. And if we actually reopen it, then it's still saved and it works perfectly fine. And here's the reason why we need to do this. So if I actually comment this out and I go back, then you can see that it still works. It says 26, but now when I click it, then you can see that it resets. And that's because right here, the count is equal to 0. So that's what it's going to do. It's just going to start from 0 again and so on. And this is going to be for this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, then like it. Comment down below if you have any video requests. Sub to my channel for more content like this. And see you next video.